My dear friends, Angel Thomas, Hannah Thankamalex, Sandra Sarah Thomas, Rohan Matthews John, and Joel Cherian Burgess. And my dear teachers, Lenny Miss, Raji Miss, Srija Miss, and Cynthia Miss. Today we have with us a versatile personality, a former student of MTRS and an IPS officer, an orator, dancer, debater, and much more. She was a part of the MTRS family till class 8 and then continued her studies at the St. Thomas School, Trivandrum, and Kendra Vidyalaya, Pattam, an active participant in curricular and co-curricular activities, gathering awards for extemporary, debate, recitation, and dance. She was also the state topper for computer science in Standard 12. She joined the St. Stephen's and then did her BA Honours. She was of the IPS 2013 batch and currently works in the Karnataka Kata. She started her career as an SP in the Crime Investigation Department and ever since started many novel projects, kicked off the bike brigades and Krenz system. She has also devoted much time towards humanitarian works. During the lockdown, she initiated programs to feed the poor, distribute groceries, masks, and other items. She's also the granddaughter of the famous economist M.A. Uman. With much respect, I welcome Mrs. Divya Sarah Thomas. My first question is that we all know the inestimable efforts made by our police department to help the citizens cope up with the COVID pandemic. So, as a frontline worker, how challenging were your and your team's everyday responsibilities? Also, what measures were taken to ensure the safety of your crew?
Okay, so when Corona started, I was actually posted in Bangalore. I was the Deputy Commissioner of Police of City Armed Reserve in Bangalore. So a City Armed Reserve is a particular unit which provides men, you can call them striking party, like when there is a law and order crisis or when there is a mob to control or some kind of very difficult situations, these men are called in. So I was heading the City Armed Reserve Unit when actually the lockdown happened and the pandemic had reached a point where we had to go into a lockdown. So in respect of the lockdown, I was looking at a couple of aspects. One is the essential goods supply. So I was in charge of the essential goods supply for whole of Karnataka. While people were put in lockdown, it is very important that you give them regular supply of food. So movement of food grains, movement of vegetables, movement of meat, milk, and in a place like Bangalore where everything is available online, you have to ensure that the supplies come and the supplies are also distributed. So this was quite a challenging task because considering the density of population in Bangalore, the demands were huge. The vegetables and the goods had to come from different parts of the state and the country. So we were, it was at that time then we started something called an e-pass, the Karnataka e-pass, Clear Pass it is called. So that had received a lot of national attention because of the way we were managing it. So clear passes were issued for goods supply. And also for people to go from one state to another state. So people, certain things like death, birth, sickness, emergency travel, business travel. So everything had to be regulated. So the KSP Clear app pass was one initiative that was introduced during this period to regulate the flow of goods as well as supplies. Another thing you might have all read in the newspaper is the migrant workers. It was a big issue in Kerala also, in Karnataka also, considering the number of migrant laborers coming in staying in our city. So it came to a point where, suddenly lockdown happened, work stopped, they had no food, they had no place to stay, people were walking on the roads. So this Herculean task of, making sure that they are provided for, and also at the same time making sure that they get their ticket for people who wanted to go back home. They get tickets, they are put on the right trains. So I think that was one, to be very honest, a very big task. So each of us were given one stage. I was in charge of some place called Bangalore International Exhibition Center. So at a time, around 5 halls, there were like 5,000 to 10,000 migrant laborers. So these laborers, we had to make sure they were screened, they were checked, their health was taken care, food was provided, and also they put on the right trains to go to their hometowns. So so Corona was a real challenge, because in other cases, you know who is your enemy. It's a visible enemy or it's a visible target. But for Corona is an invisible target, and you have to manage all this, manage the sentiments of people, sentiments of workers, sentiments and fear of your own staff, and tackle this issue. So it was a whole new experience for everybody, because we had not faced such a crisis before. And also it is important during this phase that we take care of the health of our staff. The health of our staff was more important, and to give them that confidence to interact. So we had to distribute masks, we had to distribute good food to our people, also make testing very accessible for our staff, sanitizers, new habits of cleanliness, places to stay, isolation. So all our tasks had to be done taking into account the safety and health of our staff also. So that's about it. That's pretty much how difficult the task was. It is still an ongoing battle. Now that even if vaccine is come, giving vaccine is also an ongoing activity. So basically, Corona, you can see it was different stages of tackling it. So the first stage was that fear stage, when you were locking everybody up. Then the second stage was that it became too many people that you could not lock anybody up. So you started freeing things, and things started more of home isolation, started more of home care. Then now is the third phase, when like everything is open, you have to take care of yourself, and now the vaccination phase is begun. So that's about it.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the next question, who is going to ask?
Yes, miss. The next question. This lockdown period was indeed a difficult time for the most of us. How did you control the situation in your particular place?
So as I told, it was actually phase-wise. So if you see yourself, the first phase was completely locked down. So the first phase challenge was locking people down, making sure they get supplies. Also, even one case of Corona, they were admitted in the hospital. The entire house was isolated. Then the second phase came when the hospitals could no longer, have the capacity of, having so many patients. So then we started the phase of. So initially, you heard of containment zones, right? So containment zones were huge. The size of a containment zone used to be like one ward, one area, like that. So slowly, the size of containment zone became one house. So that is another phase of handling Corona crisis. So now the third phase, like I told, it has come. That is when, everything is permitted, everything is allowed. Now the phase is that of vaccination in Karnataka. I don't know what is exactly the policy in Kerala. So now in Karnataka, we have gone ahead with vaccinations. The strategy to tackle it was extensive testing. Even for our staff, it was extensive testing and isolation of positive cases and of people who could be positive.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
manage different roles together. As a loyal servant of the nation, as a daughter, as a sibling, as a wife, and as a mother. How do you manage everything with that ease?
I won't say things are managed with ease. Things are very difficult to manage, but nothing is unmanageable. Okay? So initially, when you are in studies, you have the support of your family, and then when you get older, when you get married, then you have a spouse. And actually, a lot of things depend on the kind of spouse you get married to. We both have taken a strategy where, like, both of us don't take any busy postings together. So right now I'm having the busy posting, and he is staying back at home. He's taking less challenging posting so that he can take care of the family. So it's a balance. It is a difficult thing, but yeah, it all depends on the kind of person you get married to, or the kind of spouse and family. So my spouse is extremely accommodating. we don't take busy postings together. One of us takes a step back. So when our baby was born and the next 1 year, I had taken a very easy posting and he was having a tough posting. So now I've taken a tough posting and he's taken a very easy posting. He is staying back at home and doing his work and taking care of home affairs.
Ma'am, you are the first female SP of Chamarajanagar. There are less women compared to men in IPS. What do you think is the reason for this?
I think there's less women compared to men in most professions. In all the professions, it's like that. But especially in police, there is a stark difference because, whenever you think of police, what is the first image that comes? This is something I talk in everything. When you think of police, the first image that comes is of a guy. Nobody thinks of a lady. But now slowly the mindset is changing. The less number of people, less number of women are there in every field. That is because earlier there was this feeling that women should primarily be homekeepers. But now that kind of feeling or that kind of societal mindset is changing. So, for example, for me I am posted in a very rural area. Chamarajanagar is a very rural area. And Chamarajanagar has the history of, if you must have all heard about him, Veerappan. So he is one thief, or he is one legend, or anything you can say, who has actually terrorized the entire country. So he is basically, his kingdom or fiefdom was Chamarajanagar. So at that time, the mindset was that one lady cannot handle the responsibilities of Chamarajanagar. So now he is also gone, but people's mindsets are also changing. So women have proved that, women are, if not more capable than men for handling crisis. It's all about the changing societal mindset as well as the courage and many, many forthcoming women who have taken up challenges and shown that they can do a better job.
Ma'am, could you share a memorable moment as a student in MTRS?
So MTRS, I think I joined in my first standard. Okay, so this is the first place where I did anything on a stage. Okay, I still remember the first time I got on stage. There was this tableau for the school day, and then I was dressed in one autumn tullal attire. So I can, to be very honest, I can still smell that paint on my face. They put that green color paint and that heavy headgear and all. So that was the first time I had come on stage, and MTRS is the first time for me for many things, for dance, for speaking, for recitation, for studying. But this particular episode, I still remember very clearly. I'm on the stage, and that's when I thought, this feels good, I should do this more. So MTRS has given me a lot of memories.
Ma'am, you're instrumental in starting the PRE system for women police officers in the Commissioner's Office, Bangalore. And you also launched Women Bike Brigade in Bangalore. What prompted you to do so? And this brings us to the last question. So could you please tell your message for all the younger generations like us?
So first I'll start with the creche system. The creche system I started because there is, like, the first question, one of the questions you asked for, why are women less in police and in all professions, to be honest. Well, we have to provide a level playing field. So a creche is whereby, like, I can bring my child, I can leave my child in the office, and I can be very well assured that that my child is there in office. I can go and check up on him or her at any time. So similarly for our constables, for both our male and female constables, one thing they often say is we have to go to school, pick up our child, or child will come, we'll be alone. So this is one system where you can bring your children, you can leave them there, and you can be also assured of their safety. So these are a couple of things which we can do to ensure that more women come into policing and other services. The second thing is the biking thing. See, that would also be my advice for everybody. In life, we have to pick up as many skills that we can. So no skill is any way lower or lesser or anything. The ability to ride a bike, the ability to drive a car, the ability to swim, so any sort, ability to stitch, the ability to type fast, everything is a skill. Especially when you are in your school, it is a time to pick up skills. So to learn a new language, to do maybe dancing, to study music, to try your hand at guitar. So pick up as many skills as possible. So when you pick up skills, it's not just that you know something more. It improves your personality also. So this is my advice for everybody. It's never too old or too young to pick up anything. Even if you don't pick up something now, at a later age you want to pick it up, you can pick it up. But the fact is, you should have that attitude to learn anything and everything that comes your way. So picking up skills is something that should be your motto, and to come out of your comfort zone. That is also something which as students you should do. You should actually constantly challenge yourself and come out of what makes you comfortable. It's only at the end of your comfort you learn something new, and that's when you discover your correct personality also. So feel free to come out of comfort zone, pick up skills, and don't pick up skills so that you can show it on your curriculum vitae. It's like you have so many things, so you are smart. Pick up skills so that it truly improves who you are, not for a show purpose. You don't need a certificate. Your personality should be your certificate. So that is my advice for all of you. Good questions. You have framed very good questions. I can see you put a lot of thought in it. I hope you also have the inspiration to join civil service. Also, anything which you want to do, but please choose anything which makes you happy, which is your ambition. Thank you all for coming.
At MTRS are all very proud of your achievements. When you came to the school after the selection, many of us were not able to meet you. But I have been reading about you and your work, and I can only say that you are doing an excellent, especially during the COVID times. Please continue your work, and I hope many children are inspired by your achievement. Continue your good work, and all the best for the future.
Thank you, ma'am, so much.
Ma'am, as a teacher, I am very proud to meet one of our former students as a high official. You are really an inspiration for younger ones. Thank you, ma'am, for spending your valuable time and sharing your experiences to inspire our kids. All the best for your future.
Thank you.